How are we doing, folks? Just Graham Keith here from The Great Wake Up. Thanks for watching this video. Now, this video, I'm going to explain really about the power of the journey of life and how our journey from the day we were born was pre-orchestrated, was a gift given from God, if we have the eyes to see that gift. And understand that everything we're born into is happening for a reason. So there's no wounds or self-pity or sadness or, victimhood or why me, this kind of thinking. Because everything that you go through is predetermined and pre-designed for you to come home to awakening. And for you to come home to the truth of who you are, to have the ability to not live as anything else from who the truth of who you are is, and to use your journey as your springboard for your own inner happiness, peace, tranquility, and ultimately to live as one with your soul, because that's what this life is all about, really. And that's why the world is shaped and set up the way it is, to take us all from our soul. Most people live in a completely fictional world, a definite fictional world on the outside. It's all bullshit. And not many people will tell you that, but it's all bullshit. All the government systems, it's all a lie. It's to suppress the people, to keep you down, to keep you struggling, to keep you separate from yourself, because you're always in a wheel of survival. But I want to give you an example of how our lives shape us for greatness. Now, greatness might not be, all the bells and whistles of billions of dollars and all this kind of thing that people are, brainwashed, if you like, to believe that's what we're here to strive for. Because we're not here to strive for anything. We're here to become aligned. And when you're aligned, you don't strive, you don't struggle, you don't pray or beg or wish or want or be a victim to not getting what you want. I've been there and done all that stuff. And the reason why is because of my journey. Now, my journey, my old mentor from an Australian psychology company called the Academy of Awakening, Sue McDonald, her name was, said to me that I had one of the most challenging, if not the most challenging, journey on earth. Why? Because, well, I was born at 25 weeks premature. So it's actually a miracle that I'm here at all, really. I wasn't able to sit up, stand, balance, walk, had tension throughout all my limbs. As a quadriplegic, I was in a wheelchair, and I am in a wheelchair and things like that. And then my dad died of a brain tumour when I was 1 year old. And I grew up in a toxic family, nothing personal to my family, who I love dearly, but ultimately that kind of environment with the pain and suffering and challenges and difficulties. My sisters, who I love dearly, we don't really connect fully for whatever reason. I have my opinions and spiritual understandings as to why that is. I'm perceived as the little disabled boy. I'm still perceived at 47 as the little disabled brother. And I'm often ridiculed and looked down upon and all of those things. And that's totally normal, because their journey is not my journey. I can totally understand that as to why that would be. So you imagine the trauma, the pain, the struggle, the 20 years of physical therapies, going to school in standing frames and lying in bed in class and all of those things that I had to do in my very young years, my disabled school. Life was a very, very hard struggle. I've had 6 operations as well to release my muscles and tension and my legs and limbs and things like that. I've got neurological challenges such as a Moro reflex, startle reflex, a jump reflex, where I essentially jump at loud noises, sirens, unexpected bells, tapping on my shoulder and not knowing you're behind me, all of those things. So life's been really, really, really hard. But what it has given me, wow, is immense wisdom, immense strength, immense courage, and most importantly, immense love. Immense love. Because I had a gaping hole inside of me. My mum was beautiful. My mum died in 2016. The absolute apple of my eye, my mum. Loved her so much. Still do. Love you, Mum. Because she's not gone. She's up there waiting. But living in that environment was so hard because I felt a resentment of being disabled, and I felt like a burden to my family, and I felt like a burden to my sisters, and I could see and feel the envy and resentment in a way. It could be my own personal viewpoint, and I'm sure my sisters would deny that and say that they do care about me a lot and love me, and I know they do because they help and support me when they're not busy running their own lives. But the moral of the story for this video is to understand fundamentally that everything, literally everything in your life was given to you for that purpose, was given to you so that you could create the pearl from the grain of sand that got stuck in the oyster. You see, when an oyster gets a grain of sand in it, it's hard to fathom how does it get it out. It's irritating, it causes friction and pain and struggle, but what does the oyster do? The oyster coats it, and through time, not trying to do anything other than coat this grain of sand, the oyster produces a pearl. You see? But it all depends on how you focus as the oyster on that grain of sand. The grain of sand is all the challenges, struggles and difficulties in your life. And all those challenges, struggles and difficulties are there to shape you. And everyone knows that, or they should know that. But most people have become so deeply unconscious, so deeply spiritually unaware, that they become these experiences, they harden, and they become that person who is the victim of their circumstance. They don't see it from a higher perspective. And that's all my journey has given me. It's given me eyes as the observer. When you don't have a life where you can run around and play football with the boys and do all the things that normal boys, normal lads do, normal men do, you become sharp in other ways. And it's that reason why I'm so grateful for my life. Because in 2013, I was offered $7.5 million, which I actually turned down. I actually declined it in a polite and nice way. Why? Because I realised one thing, that I was the pearl that manifested from the grain of sand stuck in the oyster. And I realised that no amount of wealth could replace or needed to replace me as that grain of sand who became the pearl. And that's exactly what life is trying to teach you. So if you're not in a great place, or you're feeling like you're in a toxic family, or an environment that you don't feel you fit into, understand that you are that grain of sand. You are that grain of sand, and you've got into the oyster, and you're literally biding your time. You're biding your time to allow your life to unfold, to allow you to realise just what all of this is for, what all this is about, and why you're experiencing it. Okay? So never, ever, ever believe that you're a victim of circumstance. Never, ever believe that you're a victim of your journey that you couldn't control. Never, ever believe that you're a victim. Because the pearl is not a victim. The pearl is just going through a process from a grain of sand trapped in an oyster to a beautiful, whole, formed, stunning, perfectly formed pearl with immense value because of the struggle that process took. Okay? It's like the story of the ship engine and the hammer, where two blokes had a boat, a ship, and it wouldn't start. They couldn't get it going. They couldn't sail. They wanted to sail, so they phoned all these repairers, the engineers, and they all came round, and none of them could fix it. Until they found this one particular guy who actually was the pearl. And he came out with this quote, and he says, "Give me 2 minutes." He pulls out a little hammer and he just taps the boat. All of a sudden, boom, the boat comes into life. What? Amazing. Nobody could believe it. All he did was tap with a hammer. And he said, "I'm going to send you the bill now." So he gave him the bill. In the post it arrived, and the boys who owned the ship opened the bill. £20,000. What? £20,000? You only tapped it with a hammer. And the ship engineer said, "Yes, the bill is £20,000. I may well have just tapped it with a hammer, but all of my journey and experience of repairing ships meant I knew exactly where to tap the ship to fix the boat." And that is exactly what your life's journey is all about. So just remember, at any time in your life when you're feeling, a bit down, maybe a bit of a bit of pain, or you're struggling with the environment you're in, just understand you are the grain of sand, and you are becoming that pearl. You just need the eyes to see, and your journey will unfold. You will develop and gain the wisdom, the skills, the gifts, the love, the closeness to your own soul, which is what this job of life is really all about, which is why we're living in a soulless world right now. It's a pointer to tell you to go within yourself. So all these videos I do on the external world, yeah, I could do those because I'm blessed to have gone through the grain of sand to the pearl journey. I've seen the external world for what it is, and my focus now is only purely on my internal world. And because of that, I can focus so heavily on freeing people from the false perceptions of the external world, and then they can go within themselves. But they can't fix within whilst they have faulty perceptions on the outside, or faulty perceptions of their environment, or faulty perceptions of the people that they live with or hang around with, or their family members, or whatever. It's all designed as a miraculous, beautifully orchestrated play. So with that, I'll say thank you for watching. And remember, you are not the grain of sand. You are the pearl on a transformational journey from that grain of sand. And you just have to go through that process, because your life was given to you specifically for that reason. And that is the gift, the real gift, as to why I can turn down $8 million. Okay? And that's the same for you. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. And if you want, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.